How well do you know your Pixar films? That's the topic today in episode 104 of Disney Jeopardy. 28. That's right, 2,828 clues have come and gone, but today is a brand new ball game. Welcome into Disney Jeopardy. As always, I am your host, Bryan Perri, and like I just mentioned, it's all about Pixar today.
Snap out of it, Buzz!
So without further delay, let's check out the categories. First up, it's Pixar history. Second category you'll be playing is A113 or A113. If you're a Pixar fan, you know all about this Easter egg that's found throughout Pixar movies. I'll be asking you about those specific Easter eggs. The third category you'll be playing, it's Michael Giacchino, aka one of the greatest musical minds in film history. I'll be playing you a theme of his, something that he helped create, and you'll have to tell me what movie you can find it in. The fourth category you'll be playing is your theme park category of the week. It's Pixar at the parks. And the final category is your Club DJ member category, selected by the Club DJ members. You see it there. It's all about Woody. That's right, the sheriff picks up the W. On the W, as he defeats Lightning McQueen and Mrs. Incredible. It was a close race for second place in the poll. But Woody does pick up the victory. I'll ask you 5 clues all about the character from the Toy Story franchise. And with that, it is now time for the easiest round of the game, the Cupcake Round. Each of these clues are worth just 200 points each as we get this ball rolling. Let's start with a little Pixar history for 200. The highest grossing Pixar film in history. Correct answer comes from 2024. That's right, it's only a few months old. It is Inside Out 2.
Come on! Oh, man!
And not only is that movie the highest grossing Pixar film of all time, but it's also the highest grossing animated film of all time, defeating the live action, but really CGI Lion King from 2019, just a few months ago. Move on to the first clue from A113. The first A113 Easter egg comes in the form of a license plate belonging to this character. Well, you have to go back to the first Pixar film, that of course being Toy Story from 1995, whose license plate had A113 on it. It's not the Pizza Planet truck, but instead Andy's mom's band. So Andy's mom is the correct answer.
Okay. I couldn't find my Buzz.
We move on to Michael Giacchino for the first time. Listen up. You'll have to tell me what movie you can find the audio in. That right there is the theme to A Family of Supers. The correct answer is The Incredibles. Here comes Pixar at the parks for the first time. In 2018, a portion of Paradise Pier at this Disney theme park was reimagined to Pixar Pier. If you want to visit Pixar Pier, you'll have to go out to California Adventure. And we finished off the Cupcake Round with a clue about Woody. He provides the voice for Woody. Who is Disney legend Tom Hanks.
Buzz Lightyear! Any other toy would give up his moving parts just to be you! You got wings! You glow in the dark!
And that does it for the Cupcake Round. Going back to Woody for a second, a fun fact about him. Tom Hanks obviously provides the voice for Woody in the Toy Story films, but it's actually his brother, Jim Hanks, who provides the voice for Woody for a lot of the merchandise.
Ha ha! Boy, am I glad to see you!
Is that you?
No, it's my brother Jim.
Is it really?
Not sure why they can't just rip the audio from the movie for a lot of the lines and the merch, but either way, pretty cool fun fact. We move on to the 400-point round. It once again brings us to Pixar history. Of the following 3 characters, this one had the most lines in their original film. Marlin, Buzz Lightyear, or Remy? Well, Remy only has one movie. Did he have more lines, though, than Marlin did in Finding Nemo or Buzz Lightyear did in the original Toy Story? The correct answer is he did not, because the winner here is Marlin.
Do something funny.
Yeah.
All right, I know one joke. There's a mollusk, see, and he walks up to a sea. Well, he doesn't walk up, he swims up. Well, actually, the mollusk isn't moving.
And Marlon won by a pretty decisive margin. When you really think about it, he's in almost every scene outside of the few in the dentist's office in Finding Nemo. Over 300 lines for Marlon in Finding Nemo. We move on. It's A113 for 400 points. Watch this Pixar film to see A113 on the front of a camera held by a scuba diver. In retrospect, I probably should have spaced out the Finding Nemo clues, but that is the correct answer here. A113 can be seen right there. We're on to our second Michael Giacchino song. Listen up. That right there could be heard in what is tied for my favorite Pixar movie ever, Coco. Pixar at the Parks for 400 goes a little like this. Avengers Campus replaced a portion of California Adventure that was themed to this Pixar film. Well, Avengers Campus brought an end to A Bug's Land, which of course was an area of California Adventure themed to Monsters, Inc. No, just kidding. A Bug's Life.
Buzz over to Disney's California Adventure and discover A Bug's Land, a whole new land for kids.
No, we'll be getting our Monsters, Inc. land soon enough in Hollywood Studios in the controversial move that is eliminating Muppets Courtyard, but that's for another day. Let's finish off the 400-point round with Woody's second clue of the day. According to one of Woody's string lines, this type of animal is in his boot. Correct answer is a snake.
Hey, what's this thing do? Ha ha ha! I get it. There's a snake in my boot.
After this episode, this weekend, I am going to watch Toy Story 2 because I watched so many clips of Toy Story 2 and I forget how good of a movie it was. I always put Toy Story 3 as my favorite in the franchise and the original Toy Story, and I kind of forget about 2 and 4, but 2, really good. Really great reviews, too. Do you think it's the best one? Let me know in the comments below. 600-point round now begins with a little Pixar history. Pixar's majority shareholder from 1986 until its sale to Disney in 2006. Mr. Apple is the correct answer. Who is Steve Jobs?
Our business depends upon collaboration, and it depends upon unplanned collaboration.
And because Steve Jobs was the majority shareholder of Pixar for almost 20 years, his strong relationship with Bob Iger when Bob became CEO in 2005 of Disney helped facilitate and expedite the sale of Pixar to Disney. Disney already had a partnership with Pixar, obviously, but full ownership didn't come into Disney's hands until 2006. Again, partially because of the relationship between Steve and Bob. Here comes the A113 clue in the 600-point round. A train from this movie can be spotted racing towards a railroad crossing with A113 on its engine. It's actually 2 A113s. The correct answer is Cars. That's not the only place you can find A113 in the Cars movie. You could also see it on Mater's license plate, just like Andy's mom. On to Michael Giacchino for 600. Now that I'm reading these clues out loud, I realize how back-to-back I'm going with a lot of them. The correct answer here is Cars 2. That theme belongs to Finn McMissile. As we get over the halfway hump, here comes Pixar at the Parks for 600. The only ride at Magic Kingdom themed to a Pixar film. That is Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin. Here comes Woody's third clue of the game. Woody catches these characters robbing a train at the start of Toy Story 3. While riding on top of the train, Woody catches One-Eyed Bart and One-Eyed Betty. Who are One-Eyed Bart and One-Eyed Betty? Well, you said Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. I'll let you get away with it.
You got a date with Justice, One-Eyed Bart.
Too bad, Sheriff. I'm a married man.
One-Eyed Betty?
All right, that does it for the 600-point round. We move on to the 800-point rounds. And know that I'm rooting for you. You, not the person next to you. I'm rooting for you specifically. Here we go. 800-point round begins with Pixar history. Prior to Cars 3, Pixar debuted their short film about a creature who lives inside a lost and found box. That creature's name, and the name of the short, was this. What is Lou? All right, A113 now. Great. The A113 code comes from a classroom number at this West Coast college, a school that many Pixar animators attended. What is CalArts? On to Michael Giacchino for the fourth time. We're traveling to France to get the correct answer. Here it is Ratatouille. Pixar at the Parks. Fourth clue is worth 800. A new villain show at Hollywood Studios will be housed in the building that was most recently home to this show. What is Lightning McQueen Racing Academy? Last clue before the 1000s brings us to Woody for 8. At the end of Toy Story 4, Woody sits atop this type of attraction with Bo Peep and watches his friends drive away. What is a carousel?
To infinity and beyond.
If you said merry-go-round, that works for me as well. All right, 20 clues down, 6 remain. But before we get to Final Jeopardy, you know what time it is. It is time for the most overly dramatic, soundtrack-infused, unnecessarily spotlighted part of the game, the 1,000-point round. This 1,000-point round is, of course, presented by the Bunny Eclipse Shop, where you can find this Hello Bell t-shirt. Visit DisneyJeopardy.com to get yours today. 1,000-point round begins with Pixar history. It's a tough one. The number of Pixar franchises, aka films that led to sequels/prequels. And when I say sequels/prequels, I mean actual films, not Disney Plus spin-offs or anything like that. So how many Pixar movies led to sequels/prequels? The correct answer is 6, and an extra point for you if you're able to name all 6 right now. We begin back in 95 with Toy Story, which obviously led to 3 and soon to be 4 sequels. And you've got Monsters, Inc. that led to Monsters University. Finding Nemo led to Finding Dory. The Incredibles led to Incredibles 2. Cars led to Cars 2 and 3. And finally, Inside Out led to Inside Out Dos. Move on. It's A113 for the final time. Listen to the audio and identify the Pixar movie the A113 Easter egg is from.
A113 in progress. All units report.
Correct answer is Onward. Here comes Michael Giacchino for the final time. Back-to-back audio clues.
Stomp like an elephant, scurry like a mouse. Make your way down to Bluebee's house.
That is the theme to the TV show Bluefy, which of course is not actually a real TV show, but instead a TV show in the Inside Out universe. That clip is from Inside Out 2.
Stomp like an elephant, scurry like a mouse, make your way down to Bluefy's house.
2 clues left on the board. First up, it's Pixar at the parks. The 2 characters from Cars to have their names included in Disney rides. Well, you would think Lightning McQueen would have his name on a Disney ride, right? But he does not. No, the heat secret attraction in Cars Land, of course, is Radiator Springs Racers. No character part of that name. You do have Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, so Mater is one of them. Who's the other? It is Luigi, who was originally part of Luigi's Flying Tires. That no longer exists. Luigi's Roadsters does. The correct answer is Mater and Luigi. Final clue on the board is the 1,000 pointer for Woody. The sponsor of Woody's Roundup in Toy Story 2. The correct answer is a bit of an Easter egg and throwback to 101 Dalmatians. You remember the commercial for Canine Crunchies? Well, in Toy Story 2, it's Cowboy Crunchies.
Cowboy Crunchies, the only cereal that's sugar frosted and dipped in chocolate, proudly presents Woody's Roundup.
And just like that, 25 clues are down and 1 remains. It just so happens to be the one clue of the game that will ultimately determine how proud of yourself you will be until hopefully join me next week for episode 105 of Disney Jeopardy. What will that episode be all about? It's time to find out. See what the category is for Final Jeopardy. Sequels, that's right. I will be quizzing you on Disney sequels, and I'm not just talking about the ones that made it to theaters, if you catch my drift. Also, shout out to everybody who's been going on to DisneyJeopardy.com and submitting their own clues. As you saw earlier, a few of those clues made it into this episode. If you have a clue that has to do with a Disney sequel that you want to see in the show, be sure to head over to the website and submit your clue today. All right. How well do you know your Disney sequels? It's time to make those wagers. Prove it. And time is up. All right, let's check out the final clue in this episode 104 of Disney Jeopardy. Between 1994 and 2008, Disney released more than 20 straight-to-VHS/DVD sequels. This particular sequel came out 64 years after the original film and holds the Disney animation record for the longest time between the release of a film and its sequel. Good luck. And time is up. Man, I tell you, that DVD, VHS sequel era feels like some alternate parallel universe or something, because a lot of those movies nobody has seen, for better or worse. Some of them not very good, some of them very underrated. Let me know which one you think is the best in the comments below, because maybe I'll check it out. I haven't seen them all, but I will tell you the correct answer here. It is not Cinderella, even though that was 50 plus years in the making. It is not 101/102 Dalmatians. That was quite some time as well. No, the winner here brings us all the way back to Bambi. That's right, Bambi, and Bambi 2 is your correct answer.
Feel the force. Feel the force.
Bambi.
Feel the... Felt it.
That does it for episode 104 of Disney Jeopardy. I've been your host, Bryan Perri, thanking you for joining me today. Special shout out to all the Club DJ members who help me produce these episodes each and every week. I always say it, but it is the truth. I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Remember, next week it's all about Disney sequels, so be sure to study up on those VHS sequels, those natural sequels that came out in theaters, even some prequels, perhaps. And if you want to help choose one of the categories in next week's episode, you have to be a Club DJ member, and you'll get to select between these options. Club DJ poll, which one of these sequels will have its own category next week with 5 original clues. It is up to you. And now, you know the deal. If you like what you saw, do me a favor, subscribe. Click that bell icon. Hello, Bell. Hello, Bell. I did too. This way you're notified every time I come out with brand new content. Once again, I've been your host, Bryan Perri. I'll see you next week for the sequel episode 105 of Disney Jeopardy. Till then.
Bye-bye.